Hey, good morning, Georgia. Faith, Thursday morning, I always look forward to Thursday because I learn something on Thursdays, right?
Absolutely. It's always an interesting time.
As we go on our community-focused travel around Georgia, where are we at today, Faith?
We're in Watkinsville, down in Oconee County,
Yeah,
close to your old stomping grounds in Athens.
yeah. I have lived in Oconee County a little while when we were in Bogart, back over in Jackson now, but we've got some great folks today. We'll talk to Chappie, Kevin Hines, a chaplain at Emmanuel College, law enforcement, Marine, former UGA chaplain for the football team. Chappie, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm well, thank you.
Looking forward to chatting. My buddy Brad Bunting, he's a Zaxby's franchise owner over there off of is that 53, Brad, right?
Highway 53. Yeah, Highway 53 in Oakwood.
Yeah, so we'll talk to Brad about. Brad's kind of a mad scientist. I mean, not only does he make a great chicken sandwich, but he's also figured out how to run cars on French fry and chicken grease. So we gotta hear about that. And we'll move these guys to the green room, Faith, and let's start with the Mayor Pro Tem of Watkinsville, Christine Tucker. Hey, Mayor Pro Tem.
Hello.
Thank you. Hey, I'm vice chair of the commission. You're Mayor Pro Tem. The Mayor Pro Tem, I guess I sit in when our chair's out. You do the same when the mayor's out, right?
Yes, my primary role is I'm one of the city council members. And
Yes.
so, but then also Mayor Pro Tem. So yes, Brian was unable to make it today, so I get the privilege. Thank you, guys.
She was offered as tribute.
Hey, Christine, I'm going to be in your lovely city with Brian, I guess, coming up in, I guess, next week, and he's going to give me a tour of everything. Tell us a little bit about why you love Watkinsville.
Well, one of the things that drew us to this community, other than the great school system, of course, that we have here in Oconee County, is how friendly Watkinsville is. It's very walkable. And so even when my children are younger, they're teenagers now, but even when they're in elementary school, I felt safe for them to walk into town, go to Jittery Joe's to study, and to go to Golden Pantry to get some unhealthy snacks and all the fun things there. But what has continued just to compel me to be part of Watkinsville is there's a real vision for this city. And we are not just a bedroom community of Athens, even though it's wonderful to be next to such a great city. But Watkinsville has a lot of unique projects going on for the whole region.
You know, I went to, I support the Deaf Theater movement and went to a production there. Y'all have a little theater back on Highway 15 as you're heading towards Greensboro. There's a little special events facility where they have plays and different things. So I remember going out there and supporting this production. My daughter is into American Sign Language, and so she was very interested because the whole production is signed, right? So it's really cool. Tell me about some of the businesses that you guys have going out there, some of the industry you're most proud of.
Okay, so we have actually, for such a small town, we have a lot of different varieties. So we have a great industrial area, and we also have Wire Park going in. I'm sure you've heard about Wire Park, which is a huge mixed-use development that's right up the road in downtown Watkinsville. And one of the things that makes Watkinsville unique is we have a lot of public-private partnerships. So even with Wire Park, we have the Watkinsville branch of the Oconee County Library is going to be part of that. We have a great partnership with ESP, Extra Special People, which is, again, very unique to Georgia, reaching out and helping, giving activities and so many things for special needs people with all different kinds of abilities. And so Miracle League has been a huge project. There's going to be baseball for people of all abilities, and that is about wrapped up. And that has been, we have a playground that is a private public partnership. So Watkinsville, it'll be Watkinsville's playground, but ESP has been part of it. That is for people of all abilities can use this playground, all ages,
That's
and
awesome.
it's amazing. So we also have OCAF here in Watkinsville, Oconee County Arts Foundation, and again, reaching out to the community constantly. So we have a lot of industry and a lot of business, but we also have a lot of community outreach and events that are really unique to the entire region.
I remember Tim Bryant, the morning show host at WGAU, was doing a fundraiser for ESP, and I think he was jumping out of an airplane or
Yes.
something. I was supporting him, one of his partners in that, and I also have a radio show that's in Watkinsville at WGAU every Saturday morning. Energy Matters. I have a show there. We sometimes record it in Athens. A lot of times I'm recording it on the road as I travel around the state. So that's great. It is kind of cool to be inside what I call the Bulldog bubble, though, right? So those
Oh,
towns
yeah.
that are around Athens Clark, it's all things Georgia Bulldog, right?
Absolutely. Go Dogs. I'm an alum and, of course, proud of our national championship team. And yeah, Athens is a phenomenal community, and go Dogs.
Yeah, there's another one of your businesses there that I use. It's a Black-owned business called Blessed Babe. It's an embroidery shop, and a friend of mine owns it. And her name is Ann. And just a shout out to Ann. She does all the embroidery for Team Eccles. So we have a little logo, and so all of my embroidery comes out of Watkinsville. So
That's excellent. Yeah, well, there's a lot of great industry here.
yeah, well, that's great. Well, I'm going to pull into our conversation Brad Bunting, and Brad is one of your citizens, and in fact, his children used to be with my children in the same kind of little co-op group that they did. I guess, Brad, your kids are raised just like mine, right? Are y'all done over there?
We're all almost done. I have a son that's 17, but my daughter's married and expecting, and I have another son, 25, Hayes, and another son, Miles, who's 21 at the University of Georgia. So they, like you, they have passed by pretty fast, moving along.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say bye to Christine. Christine, thank you for your service, and I look forward to being in your lovely city with the mayor next week.
Thank you so
Christine.
much.
Hey, let's talk to Brad. Brad, you own a Zaxby's franchise over by UNG, and you have been not only selling chicken, but you have this hobby of making biodiesel. And we have you as our clean energy guest today. Tell us how you got started with this whole biofuel thing.
Yes, it's great to be with you today. And the Zaxby's is located in Oakwood, which is Hall County, but been doing that about 17 years. And we have I came across an old Mercedes, and I have a good friend that helps me with this. It's Jason Smith, and his name is Cosmo around Watkinsville. He's known as Cosmo, but he's the son of John and Nancy Smith in South Oconee. But so we both have old Mercedes, and when the fuel costs got kind of high in the past, we looked into this and did a lot of experimenting. And basically we take waste oil, and we call it a fuel additive because we do use diesel and we do use unleaded fuel, but we basically make our own source. So if you're driving around Watkinsville and you might be behind an old Mercedes and you get a smell of French fries or fried chicken, and you might be behind me or Cosmo in one of our vehicles. We also use farm equipment to this fuel source in that aspect as well. So it's interesting. It takes a lot of kind of knowledge and experimenting to get it to go, but once it does, it's a great thing.
Faith, you're too young to remember this, but back in the day, there was a folklore that said that at movie theaters, that while you were watching the movie, that a Coke frame was put in there to subliminally cause you to want popcorn while you were watching, and I think what Brad is doing here, I think he's trying to promote his Zaxby's business by using the smell of Zaxby's, chicken sandwich, behind his car so that you're craving it, while you're following him. What do you think?
Makes sense to me, except that it sounds like he's driving the car in the wrong county to promote his Zaxby's, right?
Well, we all work together, and it's a great community and Zaxby's is doing a lot of good things as far as their products as well and their packaging to make things as environmental friendly as they can. So they do a good job in that, and it is a team effort for everybody.
Let me ask you about that, Brad, because I know that is something I'm seeing more and more of, compostable wares, from paper plate makers and restaurants, aggressive recycling. I mean, I guess you're recycling all of the oil, right, out of these restaurants. That's going in a separate canister behind the place, and somebody's picking that up. Is that right?
That's correct, and that's how that process works. Is when the oil is spent, it basically is removed and it's saved and it's taken and refurbished, remade to make products that are hopefully helpful for the environment. But as far as napkins and paper bags, and Zaxby's just went to a new green straw. If you notice a different straw that you get now with your drinks, it's green instead of blue. And that straw is basically more environmental friendly. It's not easy to do with products because products have to be sustainable enough to do what they need to do. But Zaxby's does do a great job of trying to move in a direction of making everything as environmental friendly as it can be. And that goes to all their products and packaging and cleaning products and things of that nature.
Well, great. Well, Chappie, and we're bringing him into the conversation because you used to live right across the street from Coach Rick, so you probably saw Chappie for Sunday dinner over there, didn't you?
Chappie and I have had many conversations at Coach Rick's by his pool, or Chappie. I'm sure he's gotten a whiff of the 1984 Mercedes turbo diesel that's running, and I hadn't won any races, but I've been next to him when he's on his motorcycle, and he can get off the line a little faster than I can in an old Mercedes. But Chappie's a good guy.
Great. Well, Brad, thanks for your leadership out there, and you're our clean energy guy for today. And thank you for all doing your great work, all the organizations you support, all the great things that Zaxby's is involved with. We're very proud to have them as a Georgia company.
Thank you very much. It's nice to be with y'all today.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Brad.
thanks. We're going to move Brad back to the green room and talk to Chappie, Kevin Hines. Chappie, you and I have known each other, a long time, I guess, since when Coach Rick got here. And, for a long time, I had the stand-up Diet Coke or Coke Zero. I had the life-size stand-up Coach Rick here at the Capitol in my office, didn't I, Faith? I mean...
Yeah, that was you come in with the lights off, and sometimes that cutout was a little startling for me.
Yeah, so I was one of those people, Chappie, that when Coach Rick finished his tenure at Georgia, I was upset, and I left this stand up in protest for a couple years here in my office, and finally I said, okay, I'm going to move on here. But Chappie, you were the chaplain working with FCA at UGA with athletes, particularly football players, and of course, everybody's a UGA fan, especially with us being national champions now. But what was it like, Chappie, being there, ministering to these young men? Because Coach Rick really had, I think, a fatherly mentality with these guys, right? And that's one of the things I liked about him is he cared about their souls and he wanted them to become men in this culture that really made a difference, right?
Yeah, Tim. Well, I appreciate you and Faith having me on this morning as the good citizen of Watkinsville. But, we came to the University of Georgia. I always say for him to win championships and me to win souls. And I believe, that God was very gracious to us, though we didn't win a championship. I'm not bitter. I'm not angry. I'm not a Georgia fan. They fired my brother-in-law and winning 10 games a year. But, you know, if you look at the money that was spent under his tenure, if you look at the way maybe he was treated by the ADs, except, of course, Coach Dooley was such a blessing to us when we got here. But, you know, things weren't probably as from the inside were not as good as people would think from the outside. So we did our best, but we did it to come in here to make boys into men and to point them to Christ and to win championships. And I think that we did our best, and the Lord is satisfied. You know,
One of the things, Faith, that Chappie and the team did is they would go to Honduras. Coach would take a group down there, and I know I'm a member of Prince Avenue Baptist, and my wife has gone to Honduras twice on mission trips. Both of my daughters and my mother-in-law have gone down there. You know, you go into a country like Honduras, Chappie, and you see just how blessed we are in America, don't you?
You know, I've seen you know, on that point, we would have a camp every year, Mark Rick football camp. You'd pay a bunch of money and come. And well, Coach Rick's like, you know, we need to do a camp for underprivileged kids. And, you know, after a couple of years, they're like, please don't name it Camp for Underprivileged Kids. I don't know what we ended up calling it. But anyway, so there's a lot of, especially in Athens, Clark County, you have this massive academia fenced off, and then right outside the gates there's poverty, right? So Mark's like, well, we want to go around the world to preach the gospel. We want to go around the world to serve humanity, but let's do that also here in Athens, Clark County. So we would have a camp for children, but even those children, Tim, even those kids, they ate, maybe had satellite dishes. They all had cell phones. So when we talk about poor, listen, there is poor in America. I'm not ignorant, but there's not poverty. And I've been in Appalachia. I've been all over the country. I've seen the homeless in California. I understand it at some level, but I also know that America is the most gracious, giving people that we know. I work for the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. I have to raise my support. There's so many 501c3s in this town and in this state and across the country. So America is a very giving people. So we wanted to do it locally, but we also brought our team to Honduras to show them real poverty, to show them a real need. And it was just an eye-opening experience for many of them.
Wow. Chappie, how can people give to your work with FCA? Do they just go to the FCA.org website? How does that work?
Yeah, you just go to FCA.org and you search for staff, and you'll see Kevin Chappie Hines, and I've been so blessed. The Lord has really provided for me and my family all these years, and it was really easy when your head coach was the brother-in-law and of the flagship university. So it was. I've never had a problem raising money. And the other thing is, when you are bold for the gospel, when you are unashamed, the Lord has provided for me, and I'm very grateful. Very grateful.
You are a Marine. Your father, your grandfather also?
My dad, my brother, me, and my son. But the sad thing is, my son, who's my tender warrior, Elijah. I got a daughter, Noelle, who's a senior at Prince, graduating in the next 8 days. But Elijah joined the Marine Corps, had some opportunities to go to smaller schools to play football, but decided he wanted to. And please accept this as arrogant, but when he signed, my wife knows nothing about. She played the military. She played volleyball at App State. Her sister played volleyball at South Florida. Coach Ricks played football at Miami. So they don't understand guns and maybe service and all. But so when my son decided, he said, I'm going to join the military, he's going to join the Marine Corps, my wife wept. She's like, why the Marine Corps? And he said, because I want to be like my dad. And from that moment on, she dried it up, and because we have a really great relationship. Fast forward, my son was really excelling, really loved the Marine Corps, loves America, loves the Lord Jesus. He was discharged for not taking the vaccine. He put in a religious exemption. Prince Avenue wrote a letter. Pastor Josh Schmidt did an incredible letter. And he sent his package in. They gave 3 religious exemptions at the base. He was at St. Mary's, Georgia, at the nuclear naval sub base. He was a security forces Marine. He got the religious exemption from his base commander and his command sergeant major. They gave 3 of them to a captain, a lieutenant, and him. It went up to headquarters Marine Corps, came back denied, and he was discharged on March 17th of 2022.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to hear that. I have a son in the Coast Guard. Faith, your brother's in the Air Force.
My
And
brother-in-law is in the Marine Corps. He's a helicopter pilot.
just the final question, Chappie, you've also served in the police department, and our police are under attack. I've got a daughter-in-law who's a police officer at UGA now. I've had 2 of my sons that were police officers, a son-in-law. And it's one thing when you're paid a lot of money to do something that you get abuse for, but when you're not paid very much.
Football coach.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when you're not paid much money and you're serving as a police officer and you get the kind of disrespect and abuse that we have out there today, it just kills me.
So I've been in law enforcement off and on for 31 years. I worked at the Oconee Sheriff's Office. I've worked at Watkinsville PD. I can say I'm not running for any office. We have a great sheriff in James Hale. I worked for a couple sheriff's offices in Florida. I worked for a police department in Florida and one here. Shannon Brock, our chief of police, I worked for him for a year and a half. The best chief of police I've worked for, a man that is he's just a kind, great man. He's a Marine. He's a leader. But our law enforcement in Oconee is in such good hands, and we're still short. We're still looking for officers. We're still, because we have, it's almost like the family, right? Quick. When you look at Hollywood and TV the last 25 years, they have attacked the family. They've made the family almost obsolete, right? So then you got law enforcement. We grew up Dragnet, 1 out of 12, elevated law enforcement. We're heroes. Now, the last probably 15, 20 years, we've made the victim the hero and the cops the bad guys, and it's taken a toll. The national narrative has taken its toll on getting quality, great people that want to serve their communities. I love Watkinsville. I love serving, but you're one bullet away from the grave, and you're one mistake away from prison, and it's not worth the $35,000 to $38,000. And we need to start really, really championing our law enforcement.
Wow. Well, y'all can see why I like Chappie, because I love boldness, and I love it when people really serve the Lord and are unashamed. And so, Chappie, thank you for being our good citizen.
Tim, do I have one last thing? I was at a Bible study this morning in 1 Corinthians 15. Therefore, it says this: therefore, my beloved brethren, be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. That goes for you, me, every pastor, every politician, every law enforcement, every Marine, serviceman. So let's just continue to keep fighting the good fight. Let's be part of the solution and not the problem.
Good word this morning. Brad, thank you for being on today.
Thank you.
Go sell some chicken. I've got a let's just say I have a medical procedure in the morning that I'm going to be very hungry when I finish, and I'm going to ask my mother-in-law to run me by a Zaxby's because she's giving me a ride home. I'll be under on propofol or whatever that stuff is. So I'm turning off my phone tomorrow. I'm not tweeting. So anybody out there, you won't hear from me on Friday. So
Commissioner, tell your mother-in-law to be careful, because I took my husband after a dental procedure to Zaxby's because that's what he wanted. And driving down I-20 from Augusta home, he woke up from sedation. I didn't realize he was still sedated. They just dumped him in my car like that. Woke up from sedation fighting me on the interstate. So I'm just saying, the combination of sedation and Zaxby's has gone bad for me before.
Mayor Pro Tem, thank you for your service to your great city out there. We appreciate it. Well, y'all, I've got to do my day job, which is downstairs. I've got to officiate some hearings down here today. So God bless you. Thank you for being on today. Have a great weekend, everybody.
All
Thanks,
right,
everybody.
shalom.